Sam Elliott's best 1883 scene proves he's exactly what Landman Season 2 needs. Sam Elliott has a scene in 1883 proving he's exactly what the Landman cast needs. Taylor Sheridan's follow-up to Yellowstone premiered alongside his landmark neo-western's final chapter. After a successful first season, Landman was renewed for Season 2, leaving its viewers to wonder how the sophomore outing season will take shape. The Landman Season 1 finale sees John Hamm's Monty Miller character effectively written out of the series. But for Landman Season 2, Puck reports that iconic Western actor Sam Elliott has been cast. Like many other actors from Taylor Sheridan's TV shows, Elliott features in a different series from the screenwriter. Elliott plays an essential role in 1883's cast, which comprises the earliest members of the Dutton family tree and the members of their wagon train. She Brennan is the wagon train leader who leads the Dutton family's northwest journey along the Oregon Trail, starting in Fort Worth. Now, Elliott will return to Texas for Landman, presumably alongside Billy Bob Thornton's Tommy Norris. Notably, his chops in 1883 prove that Elliott has the perfect quality to enhance the show. Having watched the series more than once, I would argue that Sam Elliott's best 1883 scene is alongside Isabel May's Elsa Dutton. Elsa is the eldest of James, Tim McGraw, and Margaret Dutton's, Faith Hill, children, and the prequel is told from her perspective, as she has a coming-of-age experience on her family's journey. Elsa Dutton narrates 1883, so the audience gets an intimate understanding of her insights. James' daughter comes to realize that her romanticized version of the American West is just that as she loses Ennis, Eric Nelson, her first love. Elliott's best scene in the prequel series is arguably when she takes it upon himself to comfort Elsa after Ennis' death. He tells Elsa that he's heading to the ocean because an Apache scout once told him a secret. Elliott's Brennan goes on to tell Elsa that he's taking his wife to the ocean. He says he wants to sit on the beach in Oregon and let her see it with his eyes since this was her dream. She's understanding of Elsa's grief, and what to say is informed by the second scene of 1883 Episode 1, which shows Brennan burning down his house after losing his wife and daughter to smallpox. Elliott and May's scene is certainly one of the best moments in the show, and it informs She's ending, shooting himself on the Pacific Ocean's shoreline. The wisdom offered in She and Elsa's conversation is also one of the show's most sentimental exchanges, and 1883 has no lack of heart-wrenching moments to choose from. That said, outside the glimpses of She's compassion, the character is hard as nails, bringing his gritty, unforgiving attitude to each phase of the journey. Elliott's tested duality is perfect for Landman, which balances the unforgiving circumstances of West Texas oil fields with more emotional moments with Tommy and his family. While Tommy has moments of vulnerability, Elliott can introduce a Yellowstone quality that Landman lacks. In the season finale, Thornton's Landman performance emulates Kevin Costner's John Dutton, showing a different side to Tommy. Still, a defining aspect of Thornton's character is that he compartmentalizes the emotionally taxing aspects of his work, not allowing them to affect his composure. Therefore, we rarely get such moments from Tommy Norris as we get from John Dutton, who is profoundly in tune with his grief, earned from a life of hardships. Elliott has proven he can bring John Dutton's best quality to the Landman cast while maintaining the grittier exterior needed for MTEX's harrowing operations. Sam Elliott's portrayal of She Brennan in 1883 was nothing short of masterful. His weathered face, gravelly voice, and ability to convey deep emotion with the subtlest of gestures made him the emotional anchor of the Yellowstone prequel. While every scene he appeared in carried weight, there's one particular moment that proves he's exactly what Landman Season 2 needs. The defining moment in 1883. In the latter half of 1883, Sheeprennan stands at a river's edge, the sun setting behind him. His journey has been one of heartbreak, grief, and duty, leading a caravan of hopeful pioneers across a perilous landscape. But in this moment, he is alone, stripped of the responsibilities that have given his life meaning since the death of his wife and daughter to smallpox. As he speaks with Thomas, his loyal friend and fellow traveler, the weight of his sorrow is palpable. You ever think about how far we've come, only to end up right where we started? He muses, voice thick with exhaustion and sadness. His words cut through the quiet, laced with a weariness that only a man who has lost everything can carry. The scene is simple, yet it encapsulates the very essence of 1883, a brutal and beautiful meditation on survival, loss, and the American dream. What makes this scene so powerful is Elliott's restraint. He doesn't need dramatic monologues or over-the-top gestures. His quiet pain speaks louder than words. It's the way he stares at the horizon, as if trying to see the ghosts of his past. It's the way his hand trembles slightly before he clenches it into a fist, a silent reminder that even in his grief, he must keep moving forward. It's a masterclass in acting, and it's exactly the kind of depth Landman Season 2 needs. Why Sam Elliott is perfect for Landman. Landman, from Yellowstone creator Taylor Sheridan, explores the modern-day oil industry and the power struggles that come with it. The first season established a world of ruthless businessmen, conflicted landowners, and the ever-present battle between progress and preservation. With 1883, Yellowstone and Mayor of Kingstown proving Sheridan's knack for crafting compelling, morally complex characters, it's easy to see how Elliott could fit into this universe seamlessly. Elliott has always excelled in roles where honor, grit, and quiet introspection take center stage. Whether it's his performance in The Big Lebowski, Tombstone, or A Star is Born, he brings an authenticity that few actors can match. In Landman, he could serve as a seasoned oil veteran, perhaps a former wildcatter who has seen the industry evolve from the days of small-time drillers to the corporate monolith it is today. Imagine Elliott as a character who has spent decades in the oil fields, witnessing firsthand the transformation of the industry. He could be a man grappling with his past, one who started drilling with nothing but a pickaxe and a dream, only to find himself watching as billion-dollar corporations buy up the land he once fought to work on. The same quiet sorrow he brought to Sheeprennan could manifest in a character torn between loyalty to the old ways and the harsh realities of modern business. The emotional weight Elliott brings. Much like in 1883, Elliott's presence in Landman wouldn't just be about gruff one-liners and cowboy wisdom. He excels in portraying men who have lived through hardship, men whose scars, both physical and emotional, tell stories of resilience. Landman already explores themes of greed, power, and the consequences of industrial expansion, but adding a character like Elliott's would deepen the show's emotional core. Consider a scene where his character sits in a rundown oil bar, nursing a whiskey as younger men discuss stock prices and corporate takeovers. He doesn't say much. He doesn't need to. But when he finally does speak, it's a single line that cuts through the noise like a knife. You boys ever set a pipe by hand? Or did your daddy's money do all the work for you? It's the kind of moment that Sheridan thrives on, and it's the kind of moment Elliott was born to deliver. A bridge between old and new. One of the most compelling aspects of Landman is its examination of the old versus the new. The oil industry, much like the cattle business in Yellowstone, is a battleground between tradition and modernization. A character played by Elliott could serve as the perfect bridge between these two worlds. A man who understands the necessity of change, but resents the way it has stripped the soul from the industry. Perhaps his character was once an idealist, someone who believed in the promise of oil drilling as a means to prosperity. But over the years, he's watched as corporations have turned the land into a playground for the rich, leaving behind the workers who built it. He's a relic of a bygone era, but not one to be discarded so easily. The potential for conflict. Sheridan's shows thrive on conflict, and Elliott's presence would inject Landman with a fresh dynamic. Maybe his character is at odds with Billy Bob Thornton's, representing the last of the old-school drillers refusing to sell out. Maybe he's a mentor figure to a younger character, passing down wisdom while struggling with his own demons. Or maybe he's the wild card, the man who has nothing to lose, and therefore everything to fight for. A particularly gripping storyline could involve his character facing an ultimatum: sell out to a major corporation or risk being pushed out entirely. The audience would be on the edge of their seats, watching as he wrestles with his principles versus survival. It's the kind of morally complex storytelling that Landman excels at, and Elliott would deliver it with the same gravitas that made She Brennan unforgettable. Conclusion. Sam Elliott's best scene in 1883 proved why he's one of the greatest actors in Western storytelling. His ability to convey deep, layered emotions with just a glance or a sigh makes him the perfect addition to Landman Season 2. Whether as a veteran oilman, a mentor, or a man caught between the past and the present, his presence would elevate the show to new heights.